Hey yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Brainwash Broke series. We are back again with another amazing guest that I'm super pumped to have him here. We will be talking about our brainwashing stories and patterns that we've been programmed since our young age, because this person went through a lot of when it comes to business wise, and also like moving to from business to transformations, helping people to actually, because along the way of his journey, he figured out that by working with people, that lots of people are struggling basically with the mental problems, the roadblocks that are holding them back from the programming of their childhood, probably, or what they've been taught by other influential people. And that's basically how he got into what he is right now. And I'm super pumped to have him here and having this conversation with him. So, welcome to the show, Steve Little. What's up, brother?
Hey, brother. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate being here, mate.
Awesome. All right, brother. So, well, let's start right from the beginning. I heard about a little bit about your backstory, how you get into entrepreneurship and so on. That you had multiple gyms. This is your lifestyle. This is the way that you live and what you love to do, probably even. Uh, I haven't really asked about it, but I'm guessing because I see you, posting on social media and so on, like how you are in a gym pretty much every day and so on. So that's really cool to see that, doing what you love to do. Um, but yeah, so let's start at the beginning. Like, how did you get into entrepreneurship? What did actually led you to even become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Look, I certainly didn't grow up wanting to be a coach. I just wanted to grow up being enough. I guess like every kid wants to at that stage. Over the time, throughout my career, like from the outside, my life looked pretty solid. Like I've got a military background, I'm, disciplined, hardworking, success in business, physically fit and reliable. Um, but I was a guy that everyone looked at and thought he's doing really well.
Hmm.
It looked good on the outside, but internally something wasn't right. And I knew over time that I was wearing a mask, and that's where I was hiding behind it. But I found that I wasn't broken and I wasn't dramatic, but I was just misaligned. There was things missing that I couldn't quite understand. I knew how to perform, I knew how to push, I knew how to achieve. What I didn't know was how to slow down and actually check whether the life I was building matched the life I really wanted to be.
Right.
So I did what a lot of blokes do. I worked harder. I added more goals, more pressure, more responsibility. And on paper, it looked great. It did, it worked. But chaos doesn't always look like it's collapsed.
Mm.
Sometimes chaos can actually look very functional. And we're really good at hiding that. And as I said, that's where the mask comes from. Over the years, I've had failed relationships, not because I didn't care, but because I just didn't understand myself and who I was.
Mhm.
I was trained to be strong. I was never taught how to be aligned. And no one taught me how to manage my inner world. And that was the biggest one. No one teaches you how to regulate pressure, and no one teaches you how to build a life that actually supports the man inside. So I just kept pushing. The more I pushed, the more I realized something was missing and something important was missing. And it wasn't a motivation issue, it wasn't discipline, and it wasn't about trying harder. So that wasn't the problem. I actually found that it was a structure and identity problem. So I didn't need more drive or clarity, standards or self leadership. When I finally slowed down and got honest, everything changed. It wasn't overnight and it wasn't perfect either. But I started building my life from alignment rather than reaction.
Mhm.
So structure replaced overwhelm, standards replaced self negotiation, um, clarity replaced the chaos. And I guess this is why I do what I do now, because it's not about fixing men and it's not about motivating men. They get enough of that on social media and everywhere else. But to help capable men stop collapsing under pressure, because that's where the problem is. And they want to start leading themselves and with clarity and consistency and self respect. So, because men aren't broken, you're just carrying too much with that structure and no support. So, and that's exactly what the Warrior Reborn is all about.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, the way that how did you get, into entrepreneurship and so on? Like, it's really it's there is a lot of people that are struggling with, even figuring out that there is a different option of um of living than just being in the basically the rat race, in the way of being employed, and they think that the financial basically um, security is some type of myth, right? It's not like really real. They think that like the only way how you can make money is literally being employed and so on, right? So where did that came from, in your life?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I look at it from a younger age, my early teens. I guess like most guys when they're coming into that time, we do want something of our own. So having your own business is kind of a bit of a dream, especially here in Australia. It's very big. A lot of people say, I really want my own business. I want to work for myself. And I guess over the years, I said I had a lot of professional jobs and I was very successful in the jobs that I had. But once again, I felt that I had more drive in me and there was more to me than what I could find in a job.
Mm-hmm.
So by pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, that helped me become, I guess, a business owner. And don't get me wrong, when we first opened the gyms, we made a lot of mistakes,
Oh yeah,
but
100%.
we
But
learned from
that's
them. So
that's that's normal, right? It's not just in like,
it's,
being in gyms, right? It's literally everywhere. Like I
yeah.
started my business, online business, like 5 or 7 years ago, basically, just started learning about it. And it took me about like 5 years to actually even make money first time,
Mm.
because I didn't know what to do. I've been just like going everywhere searching for answers. I have no background. I didn't know what is it like. I didn't know that I have to have so many different skills to acquire. And when if you would go back to that to that younger self, when you actually started and start figuring things out, what was the number one thing that you figured out is super important that you have to like be, or you would like to know, if you would start basically from scratch?
I guess my number one biggest thing would have to be don't try and do it all on your own
Hmm.
because we we believe we know it all, we believe we can do it all, and we don't like to ask for help because it makes us look weak,
Mm-hmm.
which especially in business is the worst thing you can do because
Yeah.
your strength might be at that stage like I wanted to own a gym, so my strength was in the fitness industry, but I had no idea how to run a business.
Mm,
So finding other people around you that can assist you in that. So whether that's through support, through coaching, through mentors, through courses, whatever it is, don't try and do it on your own. It's not just about, yeah, like there's more to it than just trying to do it by yourself.
yeah, 100%. Like business is like multiple skills, right? Have you had any like um some type of like sales background or anything like that when before you started, or you've been completely like, here I am and I'm like just trying to do a business because it's something that I like to do? Because probably I'm guessing that you started a business because you like to be in a gym and exercising, and then like, well, maybe I start doing something more, like, having my own gym, bringing people and having like coaching and all of that stuff. So yeah, so tell me about that.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I was a bit fortunate in my earlier years. I did come from a corporate background where I was a
Mhm.
sales and marketing manager for a while. But it wasn't so much about the training I had, it was more about the person that I was that made it easy to work that way. So when I became a personal trainer while I was still just out of the military. So I had that qualification for quite some time. But I see a lot of the younger PTs come through and they go, well, they come into the gym and they're quite buff and they look good because they train a lot. And they go, oh, I might become a PT because I like working out. Probably about 85, 90% of PTs fail because they don't understand that it's a business. It's not just about lifting weights. You've actually got to run a business. So you've got to understand that that's the hard work and that's the part that people don't see.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. When you mentioned that you've been in the army, how was the process for you, and like how did it change you? Did it change you actually even, or it was like, yeah, just give us the experience. What did you actually like? I don't know, like how was your childhood, basically? Have you had like some type of like, have you been always, the way that you are right now, or you had to grow into that type of person? Like when it comes to, like belief, your self-belief, that you've been always like, you know, um, know your values and everything. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was fortunate that I had um, two brothers and a sister, so there's four of us kids, and a mum and dad. Now our parents stayed together right the way through. So my mum's now gone, but that comes with time. But I guess as a kid, we had a fairly good life. Dad worked hard, worked a lot, and I always looked up to my dad because he was a truck driver, so he was never home. He was always off on the road working, working, working. As I got older, I was a bit of, I guess I was the black sheep. I was the rebel of our family. I was the one that was always in trouble
Okay,
doing
okay,
stupid
like
things, and that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
normal.
100%. I can see
Yeah.
myself right now. Hey, I'm but like so much because my dad is truck driver. Um,
Well,
I've been the black sheep. I know that because like I'm the
yeah,
firstborn. And yeah, so I was always that person that, curious dreamer, doing stuff like doing crap.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
having fun all the time.
100%. Yeah. So I never done anything, super bad. I mean, we done
Oh,
stupid things, and we got told off by the police, but nothing bad, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. No,
I guess at
yeah.
the end of the
Like when
day, I was told quite nicely by uh, a person that you should go join the army because you could do with the discipline. So so I did. So I did. So I turned 18 when I completed my basic training. So I just turned 18. I spent 9 years in there. So I was what's called an air dispatcher. So I was lucky enough to be a paratrooper air dispatcher. So I jumped out of planes for quite a long time, and I enjoyed my time there. But it gave me structure. It gave me the discipline, but it's very much jump how high, do this,
hmm
don't do that. It was very, very, you're told what to do because that's the way the military is, and that's
hmm
cool. And that gave me a lot of purpose and understanding of becoming more mature and growing up.
hmm
So I
Yep.
did. Um, but I also felt that once I moved away from that time, um, that's when I started finding that's where the problems were coming from because I was trying to live by the military code and the way that it was, and outside you can't do that. And I understand, that's why a lot of especially the military men and women have the PTSD issues and things like that. And it's a tough gig to transition to being normal, as they say. So it is different, but I look at my time in the military and it was good and it helped me become a better man,
hmm
but it also shut down a lot of internal areas that took a long time to reopen doors. So,
hmm
but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that makes
but it
sense.
was definitely worthwhile time.
Yeah, yeah. Because like most of the kids right now, or like the younger generation, and people like even in my age, they like lots of people struggling with the self confidence, right? Like people, because the way how the system is basically set it up, and even like if the school system and so on, like it's all basically, in my opinion, it's set it up to against you completely. Like when you say something wrong, people start laughing. That's not how it's supposed to be, right? Those teachers should be teaching you to actually be able to fail and fail fast and recover fast, not like those type of things, right? Because like being I get it, because like if it would be seeing it from the perspective of employer, you want the employee to do as low number of mistakes as possible, right? But being an entrepreneur, this is the exact opposite, right? You have to do lots of mistakes and super fast, and get recovered as fast as you can, because it's all feedback. It's everything is giving you data back, so you can actually take it and turn it into your advantage. And then this is how you become like those people that the big gurus say, um that life doesn't happen to you and happen for you. because you can take it, right? That circumstance that happened, you can take it and turn it into your advantage and into your growth, right? And that most people are just literally completely misleading because they don't understand like this type of system, and they have the low resistance of actually getting through tough times, right? And that bringing me to the point, like when you are in gym and you are exercising all the time, like, or going to the gym and exercising, you are going through a tough time every single day, and you are okay with it, right? You going every day, exercise, stretching the muscles, pumping the muscles, basically to grow. And that's exactly how the life works in our life, right? Like it's exactly the way how our life and entrepreneurship works, pretty much, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I mean, as you said, the only thing I do is I teach the guys that work with me that we don't make mistakes. We make learning opportunities. The only time it becomes a mistake is if you do the same one twice.
Right,
But
exactly. Yeah.
definitely, yeah, and you do, like, you can't, the amount of things we tried over the years in business and that didn't work, that's fine. Some cost us money, some didn't. But at the end of the day, we we saw an opportunity we thought would be good, so you have a go at it. And if it doesn't work, you take what's good out of it, and the rest of it you push it to the side and you just move on. Because
Hmm.
if you dwell on what's happened in the past and you try and keep that, all it's going to do is that's going to help define your future, which means you're going to live in a negative
Mm,
past, so therefore you live in a negative future. So you've got to let that go, because for people to understand that the hardest time to live is right now in the present moment,
hmm.
because what happens next we don't know. And most people fear that, especially the kids these days. If they don't have it like there's no structure about it. So if they can't see it, they fear it. And if you fear it, you'll make every excuse and differences to not go there. You'll
Mm,
go back to what's comfortable, which is the past. And if you want to live in the past, that's not a way to live. That's no
mm,
way.
100%. Yeah. You know, I was it Jim Rohn or somebody who said something similar to that. Have you ever studied Jim Rohn? Have you been in
A
that
little
area?
bit of his work, a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, what he said, it was like it's not um that how long you live. Basically, it's about how you live.
Yeah.
Because if you have boring life, or you don't, you like literally look in one room and like you're gonna be safe here, don't go anywhere, because like we're gonna give you a meal, we're gonna every day come in here and give you the food, cook for you, clean for you, do everything for you. But that's not a life, right? It would
No,
be like you
not at
would
all.
live probably long, but what a life to live, right?
Exactly.
So it's like
I mean,
the whole. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, it's what you're saying there. Like, if you speak to, obviously I'm 56, so I'm going up the list. I'm getting a bit older now,
You're
but like,
50.
if I
Are you
speak to some
you're
of the
56? Did you say?
56, yeah.
56? You look great, bro. Like you're
Well,
really.
thanks, man.
I think this is because you are literally like. I love when people working on them all day, all the time. Like I mean, like
Yeah,
working, like exercising or doing or like literally growing all the time. Because like this is what school never taught us. They taught us how to
school
hate
doesn't do it.
school, how to hate
Yeah,
teaching, how to hate things, basically, instead of
yeah.
loving things, loving the process, right?
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, when I was at school, all I wanted to do was get out. So,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
once I became an adult and I started understanding myself more, all I've wanted to do now is um, learn more, listen and understand and take it on. And like we've over the last 10 years, my wife and I, we've done probably in excess of 700,000 in personal development for ourselves. And that's a lot of money. And when you look back, we sort of calculated, we didn't realize it, but that's what we've done. But we wouldn't be who we are today if we hadn't done that. And
100%.
it's we're always looking for more. Like, I've got a mentor now. Holly's got a mentor. We work with different groups, so we're always now looking to better ourselves and become a part of something else, because
Mhm.
As they say, if you lay down with dogs, you come up with fleas. So you've got to make sure that wherever you're going in your future, that you track to the people you want, because the 5 people that are closest to you, that's going to that's where you work out where your wealth is, and who your contacts are going to be, and what you're going to be.
100%. Yeah, it's very, very important to be in the right environment, right? That's what you're trying to
Yeah,
say, basically. Yeah, the
yeah,
environment's
definitely.
so crucial.
It is, and it's like what I was saying before. Like as people get older, when you speak to the older generations and they're coming towards the end, and they start looking back at their life, if they've just lived a very basic life and they didn't do anything that they really wanted to do, they regret that they haven't done it.
Mhm.
So don't regret the life you're creating and the life you want. You've got to go out and have a go at it. It's not always going to work. If you don't try, you're never going to know. And the last thing you want to do is get later on down the track and regret that you haven't done anything.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy. Like, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to that day, like, and thinking, oh my gosh, what that so many things I could do. I could
Yeah.
do, but I've never done. Oh my gosh, that scares me the most. When it comes to like
True, yeah.
losing opportunities, doing what I could do, but I've never done because my beliefs or my anxiety or something hold me back
Yeah.
from actually doing it or being too
Yeah.
comfortable. That's another. Oh my gosh, like people should be like, if it's just insane to see, like, because like I'm just like thinking through so many things, like right now when it comes to my even my close friends, like even family and so on, like they don't understand, and that's the biggest problem, right? Like, because they don't even want to understand. That's the biggest problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you have
As
your
I said
you and
before,
your
like,
wife. Go ahead.
yep. I was just going to, as I was saying before, like, people tend to not do that sort of thing because the fear of the unknown is what stops
Mm,
them. They think that they're going to fail automatically. So it's a couple of things that we normally get. It's fear of failure, fear of the unknown, and fear of not being enough. They're pretty much the
mhm.
3 biggest things that hold us back. So if we can take that step, only one step, but just one step past it, and actually have a go, you're not going to explode. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, 100%.
go and have a
Yeah.
look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, because like, yeah, like people are really like, people have to realize that everything what we believe is determining our real life. So if basically, I don't know how you, for example, leading in your life. That would be a great question, actually. How you lead, like when when you see something that is probably new or some type of obstacle in front of you, how you actually go through it, how you do you question yourself, like, or do you question everything around yourself if it's actually like, or something that you feel that is uncomfortable, something like that.
Yeah, look, I guess we still do. Like, I still pause. Like, something might not go right, or might not be going the way I want it to, and I'm no different than anyone else. I still get, I get annoyed, shitty, whatever you want to call it. Don't know if you're allowed to swear, but anyway.
That's how it
So,
is, right?
yeah. And I guess, but the difference is, it's you got to take that pause and you got to look at it. Is it an obstacle that you're creating, or is there, like, is there actually a way around it or whatever with it? But if
Mhm.
you sort of put that wall up straight away, the blocks come in, and you
Mhm.
can't see anything else except for what's wrong or what's going on in front of you. So you've actually got to step back, take the breath, and have a broader picture look at what's going on, because 99% of the time, what's going on inside your head, that's where the block is. It's got nothing to do with what's in front of you. Whatever's in front of you, there's always a way around, there's always a way to fix it. But it's a matter of what's going on inside will determine what you can get or give to that issue to fix it. So it's more just, yeah, pause, slow down, have a look, because something might come up, and we're always taught through the coaching years that when something gets you to a point of being uncomfortable, or you think everything's overwhelmed and everything else, that generally means you're right on the verge of a breakthrough. So
Mhm.
something's going to happen. And if you can continue staying on the path that you want, the breakthrough will happen. But if you let the fear step up, you'll stop and you won't take that step. Therefore, nothing will change. You'll wind up back in the comfort zone. You'll stay where you are and you put yourself back in your box. And that's where most people live.
Yeah, 100%, right? Like, this is really powerful. That what you just said is really, really powerful. Um, you know, what what you can see in your area of like expertise on what you do, like a part of those beliefs that we've been talking already about, like what you can see people are struggling the most, and how would you help them to overcome it, or what would be the process to actually overcome it?
Yeah, I guess the biggest things that we tend to work on is, I guess, nervous system regulation for starters. We
Mhm.
do like identity recalibration. So it's about realigning what's going on in your head to not just be, I guess, chaotic. So you've got everything going off at once. So if we can set some kind of structure in place and set up a map. So once someone or anyone, it's like when you look at a GPS, you punch in where you are and where you want to go, and it's got the blue line. So that's your roadmap. Now that's great for a GPS, but inside us, we don't have that map. Like it's just
Mhm.
roads and like massive world map, whatever you want to call it. So we've got to create a structured plan of how to get to somewhere. And if you can put it into some kind of structure, which helps, I guess, once you get the structure in place by using standards. Now, the standards are what we call non-negotiables. They're things that when you set them, you don't change them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you, and they're normally pretty powerful. So like, I mean, I've got kids, so to me it's, or if on a, it might be Thursday nights. That's when the kids were small. It's Thursday nights is kids' night. So there's no work. There's no this. That's a non-negotiable. We're doing that every Thursday. And once you set those boundaries, they help you, I guess, reset the internal self. So you've actually got some kind of structure in place because now all of a sudden you feel empowered from internal,
Mhm.
that you've got
Mhm.
something that's worth following. Because if you don't have it, I guess it's just you'll just live in the world of chaos, and
Mhm. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
nothing will be in your mind. You just won't be able to set on anything. You'll just be constantly walking in circles, living in the box, and you just go, no, I'm just staying here because then I don't have to think about nothing else.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that makes
That
sense.
makes 100% sense. Yeah. You said that you have kids, right? How you preparing them for the world? Like, is there something different that you do from how you've been raised, or is it very like traditional?
I think that's the biggest change that I've noticed, obviously, from uh, like when my parents and that sort of thing. Like I grew up on what we call a sort of old school routine, I guess you could say, and it was like kids were there, kids did things, and like you were seen but not heard, and all the usual things, and you were taught just to just do as you're told, and that was it. That was sort of it. I mean, we had as I said, we had a good life, so I can't complain about what we had, but it's still, I guess it's embedded that was the way that it was. Like our job was to just do what we're told and do this and do that and move on. Kids these days, I guess the structure's not there, so it's very open, and I guess they're not really sure what they want because there is no
Mhm.
structure. Like at least back in the day, we had sort of a structure from the parents, and if you've done the wrong thing, you got a clip across the back of the ear roll. That was us as kids.
Yeah.
But these days, it's all very different, and it is very different. And I guess it's not about as a parent um, these days. It's not about being the perfect structured father. It's now about understanding that kids, they want different now. They I guess they want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be felt, and they want to know that there's a lot of love in the world, even though the blokes don't like to talk about it. But we've got to show the kids that they can have a go at doing something, and it's not bad.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about giving them the, what do they call it, the um, when they feel they deserve everything. That's not what I'm talking about. It's more about helping them grow to become a better person by letting them try things, not bad things, and you don't let them, obviously, you're not going to drive them off a cliff or something stupid, but you know what I mean. Like, you
Yeah.
want to make sure that they can have a go at being. As I said, we've actually got Holly and I. We're a blended family, so we've got 6 kids. So, and our
You
kids
have a
are older
six
now.
kids, did you say?
6 kids.
Wow.
So we got a
Okay, that's
few.
a huge family, actually.
Yeah, so we
Wow.
got 3 and 3, and I guess growing up with that many kids in the house, they had they're all good kids. We're very lucky in that way too. But we let them do a lot. And I, back when we first met, this was part of my struggle. Still was I was still trying to be the military guy, so I was very, stern and disciplined and that sort of thing. And that doesn't work. Like it
Mm,
really, yeah, like it was, I'm surprised Holly put up with me, but she did at the start. But that's when things started to change.
right, right.
But it definitely, now I look back at the kids, and we work with them and we want them to do better. So we help them, I guess, make the mistakes, but
Yep.
we're there to help them pick it back up as well. And I think that's what, back in the younger days, like, it was just, you kind of just went out and done whatever you'd done and don't worry about it. There's a bit more that's involved in it now, and the kids need that. They need the leadership, they need the structure, but they also need to be able to try things on their own.
Yeah, yeah. So you basically like helping them to, to see the world how it is, but you are not really putting. Do you actually like lead them to some type of structure, or you just completely against structuring and like just showing them the whole perspective of like you can take this type of path or you can take this type of path, and it's pretty much your decision what you're gonna make, but I just want you to be aware of all of the other options basically and so on.
Yeah, look, I think there still has you've still got to have base structure, obviously, because
Hmm.
you can't let them just run rampant. But the structure's still there, but also helping them set boundaries, but working with them to create the boundaries that they create, not what we create. If we try and tell them the structure and tell them the boundaries, they're just going to blank wall you and they're going to do whatever they want. They're not going to listen. But if you can sit down and work with them so that they create it, so if they create it, they'll believe it. There's no point. If I tell you something, it's not going to work. But if I can talk to you and you can actually understand it and create it yourself
Hmm.
inside, it'll stick. So helping them create the structure and boundaries, and we're not talking, massive ones. It's just keeping them in a position where they're not going to do anything stupid, and it's better for them. So it's
Yeah,
not like the old military system, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well, like I don't know if I can say I like if it's lucky that we haven't experienced that, like the military. I don't know how it actually is, but lots of time I heard from my parents, my grandparents, like you should actually experience it because that would make you a better human or something like that. Like like more. I would say, what would be the word? Like, like that I would be able to probably like hold the bet, like, see the world in different perspective than just like, the way that most of the kids right now, and especially in the cities and so on, like, um, they see the options and they don't really care that much. They just like living the life how it is and so on. So, um, and because like I've been growing up I'm from small village, but we didn't have a school, so I've been driving to a city, right? And that was like you could see the differences from the mindset of kids in a village and then in a city, right? It's completely different. um and at that time it was a huge difference because like when I start going to, because yeah, we have 5 classes only, like really, like so until 5th grade, when I was like, I don't know, 12, I think, or something like that. 12, I think. Yeah, I could be in a village, and then we have to move to a city, and then like when that shift moved, my parents didn't like what is going on with you, completely different person, because now like it's, and I think like it's very hard also when it comes to coming from the village when everybody knows about you. I don't know. Are you have you been grown in a village or in a city?
We're just outside the city, so in the suburbs, but not
Okay.
far from the city. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you know probably that like you know that like like pretty much that you had the experience that everybody knows each other basically in that area, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah,
Our
so that's
current place has about 500 people in it. So, yeah, where we live at the
yeah.
moment, it's quite a small place.
So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so when when it so okay, so tell me how you like how you been when you've been actually like kid, a part of like how you felt. Have you already like feel something's different when you've been in like in the school type of thing, like that you like you've been always like that type of dreamer doing something different, or like because for example for me it was a really big difference, so yeah.
I guess for me, yeah, I've always been the dreamer of the family. Like I've always dreamed big and wanted more, and just wanted to try everything. So I guess part of the reason why I joined the army is because I wanted to see the world. So I got to travel and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, it was definitely it came from back then because I guess I saw um, other family like relatives that had quite nice lives and that sort of thing, and they had more. And like we done a lot. Like we used to race motorbikes as kids, and that was a very expensive sport to get involved in. But mum and dad,
Mm,
they done it for us, and we were good. But it cost a lot of money for
mm,
them. So
yep.
and I guess back then when we were kids, we didn't really see it that way. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
cool, and it was
okay.
good, and but over time, I wanted more, and I wanted to be better.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I've always
yeah.
been a competitive sort of guy.
And
So
I
I
think
think
that's
the
really
difference,
important. Yeah, that's really
yeah,
important, right? Being competitive and
100%,
being
100%.
like, yeah, wanting something better all the time. Like, yeah.
You've got to have your dreams. If you just want to coast through life with nothing,
Mm.
then you'll have nothing. That's how you'll be. And if you
Oh
want to do
man.
that, go right ahead. That's cool. Like
Yep.
we got some people, they live in tents or whatever. That's if that's what they want to do, good on them. But
Yeah.
I've got more that I want out of life, and I'm gonna do what I can to get what I want.
Mm. Can you see
And that's
yourself
my
in?
choice.
Yeah. Can you see yourself in your some of your kids? Like how you been, who you like how you been when you've been yeah, kid.
100%. My oldest lad, he is a mini me. He's literally like me. He started off. He was a bit of a rat bag and caused us a bit of trouble, but nothing much. But now I look at him. He's 29 this year. He's married. He's got kids. He owns his own business. His wife owns her own business, and they're doing really well. So
Wow,
I
that's
see that,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
I see, yeah, and I see a couple of the other kids, like Holly's oldest one, like he's got his own business, he's got his own house, and that sort of stuff. And so I'm watching our kids grow and create their own lives. Like the youngest one's actually 19 today. There you go. That's my daughter's birthday today. So
Wow. So tell him,
29th,
yeah,
yeah,
tell him happy birthday, right?
yeah. So she's the youngest now, and
Oh,
I said so
she,
we've got
yeah.
19 to 29. So we got all six of them fit in that 10-year gap.
Nice, nice, nice,
But
nice.
they're all choosing their own life and they're choosing where they want to go. We just try and support them the best we can to chase the life they want.
Mm, yeah.
So, and if we can help them in any way, whether that's with support, whether that's with structure, whether that's with roadmaps, whatever it is, and we'll do the best we can to help them. But we're not here to create that life for them. So I think that's the biggest
Yep.
thing is not pushing them into a point of making them do something that we want them to do because
Hmm.
that's old school and that's what you don't want anymore. Like that's what
No,
kids
no. Yep.
they don't
Yep.
need that.
Giving them the option, yeah, to choose, decide. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty. Yeah, that's
exactly.
really,
Yeah,
really important. Because then the person can end up in in a in a life basically that they don't really want or so on. So it can make even more
yeah,
struggles in their life than actually don't do
Yep.
it, because like I can see it.
And you
I
just,
remember like even my grandparents and like from my mother's side and so on, like they always wanted me to be the lawyer or somebody like that, you know what I mean, like doctor or so. Like I was like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, I'm no, I can't imagine to study like that long. No way. I was like super like I was the first one that I've been get like out of the school.
I think if you look at that too, like, I've spoken to so many people that through family traditions or whatever, they become, like lawyers, doctors, whatever it is, and they spend so much money to get there, and they actually don't like it. So
Hmm.
they spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then they walk away from it anyway, and they wind up, I don't know, pushing trolleys at Woolworths or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's because it's not their choice. You've still got to. It's got to be something that you want, or something that you at least want to have a go at.
Yeah,
Okay, not
yeah,
just, oh, dad told me to do this, or mum told me to
yeah,
do that, or whatever. Like, that's not going to work. It doesn't cut it.
yeah. And okay, so I have one more question.
Yeah,
Probably we good here. Um,
yeah, it's okay.
so what you see now with AI, actually, what is your opinion on AI and what is going on with the world right now? Like, how you, like, can you like, I'm 100% sure that your kids using AI right now. Even have you?
I
Are you
think
the
everyone's
person that
using it.
like
Yeah.
are you the person that that you accept new things, like and you evolve, or you are you more like the the way that you are aware of it, but you don't really like care that much about it?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I mean, it was coming whether we like it or not, and we're not going to stop it. So that's something you got
Mm,
to work out straight away. But
yeah.
I guess, from a family point of view, like our kids, they have Facebook and Twitter and whatever else is going on out there. I know some of it, not all of them, but that's okay. And I'm not interested in some of them either. But from my perspective, as a coach, it's actually a really interesting thing, because AI it's literally changed everything we do in coaching. And I say that for two reasons. One, you can jump on AI and you can ask it questions, and it'll talk to you. Right? It'll give you the responses, it'll give you everything else, but it's still a machine giving the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So it might give you an answer that sounds good and looks good, but there's no person behind it that's actually working with you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So a machine can't give you accountability. A machine can't give you honest answers. A machine can't give you the emotions that come with the accountability. So that's the difference of now, from my perspective in my business, is I now know that what I'm doing is never going to be affected by AI, because it
Mm-hmm.
still needs me to be the person in front of the other person on the other end of the camera or face to face to work with. But yeah, I use it. It can make great pictures. And it can do a lot of other stuff. And there's sometimes I'll ask it questions. I was fixing something at home the other day, and I asked Chat how to fix it, and it gave me the response, which was great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it has its perks. But I think from my perspective is, you can't remove the human side of it, which is the emotions, the
100, yeah.
accountability, the structure that goes with that. That's something that will never change. And I look
100%.
at it, and
Yeah.
as long as I continue to do that, then I know that I'm always going to have, my job is going to be safe, and my business is going to be good, and I'm always going to have clients.
100%. Yeah. You know, even in, even though if you would be in in a fitness business, right? It's not going
Yeah,
to basically take over the fitness business. Like people people still have to do the
yeah,
work, right? So it's
exactly.
like it's like, hoping that somebody gonna lift the weight for me. Like, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense, right? So
no,
and in a coaching space and online space, of course there's gonna be things that are going to be automated, like repetitive
yeah,
tasks or so on. Like that's already happening right now, but like
yeah,
that would take over completely the whole thing. I don't think so. But it's so like
mm,
these days it's so like people are going crazy about AI. Like it's so interesting to see like everybody like
mm,
some people just even taking the advantage of it because you can see like they are a coach and now they are AI coach with personal development coach, and I was like, huh,
Yeah,
how that
teach you how to
person
use
become
AI. Yeah.
AI coach? Like, bro, like what are you doing there? It's sometimes very funny. Like those people never use probably even AI and just like I'm AI coach
We
with
use
personal
AI to create
development.
the AI stuff to give to AI.
So, so crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, very interesting.
I still think the biggest things about us as humans is we still need that connection. So
100%.
we are mammals, and as mammals, um, it's just natural for us to be in group sessions, like to be around other people. So
Yeah.
AI is going to help, but it'll never take over 100%. You can't, because we still need that human
Like you
connection.
wouldn't have this type of conversation with AI. Like,
No,
you know,
no.
like
It
how
tries.
it
I've
would
seen it come back, and it'll say some stuff, and it's quite funny. You go, where the hell did that come from? But it gives you some great.
it
You look
may
at it
be
and you go,
great.
I didn't
It,
even say that. Like,
yeah, it may be great training, right? Like maybe like you can
yeah,
train yourself, for example. Like okay, think about it from the perspective like sale. Like if it would be like sales rep, for example, and you would be trained like train yourself or like test your skills on closing people, for example, or so on. Like that would be actually pretty interesting to see. Like
mm,
that it would be like a prospect every time. It could be different prospect, and you have like conversation discovery and all of that, and like closing and like all of that stuff, right? That would be
yeah,
pretty interesting actually to see. That may
yeah,
be helpful for people to get some skills when it comes to that, because like if you
yeah,
think about it, lots of people are scared to go even outside and just like talk to other people, right? So if they're gonna
yeah,
have this opportunity to talk to like this type of like artificial intelligence, right, and train yourself on talking, that may be helpful for so many people. Like that's pretty cool actually idea to to bring something like that to like a product or
yeah,
something, like what I mean, like for other people. That would be a huge, I think,
yeah.
huge benefit when it comes to like either way. That just came up to my mind, like bring it, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is different. And the thing I look at is like, even doing Zooms, at least, like
Mm,
when we're face to face, even on Zooms, you can still see the emotions and all the rest of it. And that's something that AI can't work out properly, because it'll try, but it's,
yep.
we'll see something, or the way you say something or whatever else, and you're still looking at a real person. And that makes a pretty big difference towards, like
100%.
what it's going to do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
because
AI is not going to give you true accountability
the
either.
way how you say it, it's gonna completely like differentiate the actual outcome, right? Because like if the robot,
Yeah.
like if it's just robotic and saying like reading a book basically or something like that, it's like you have no emotions in like in that conversation. They cannot figure
Yeah.
out if it's like if they're asking questions or is it actually a just like monologue type of thing, like or
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah. And if you
So
look at a lot of the times when AI or chat or whatever it is responds to you,
mhm.
we always say that chat's always there trying to please you. It'll always try
Yeah.
and give you a nice answer, you know,
Yeah.
until you tell it off. If you tell it off and say, no, that's not what I want, they'll go, oh, sorry about that. I'm like, trying to please you again.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, okay, so I have a question for you before we jump off. So, what is the thing like what you are most passionate about right now? Like what you see you doing, up to the future basically, and like, right now, what is the big thing for you?
Yeah, look, I guess, I mean, we still run a couple of businesses, but the main one, which, as I said, through the coaching and that, I think for me, I have no intentions of retiring from doing what I'm doing with the coaching, because it's what I love. So
Mhm.
as long as I can still stand in front of a camera, and I reckon I got at least a good 20 odd years left in me. So I expect that I'll still be standing in front of a camera and coaching with people, because I guess the biggest thing I'm seeing at the moment is, like, especially men, that they're actually starting to wake up. So the old models of hustle and suppression, the silent suffering, don't work anymore, especially for fathers. I do with a lot of fathers. So this is the next evolution of masculine leadership, and it's going
Mhm.
to take us to actually bring that to the forefront, especially of the men, because they don't. How do I put it? It's not that they don't want the help; they don't know how to ask, and if they
Mhm.
do, if they feel they got to ask, then people are going to look at them like they're weak. And that's not
Mhm.
the case. So from where I'm going with this is for the next 20 years is to get it in front of as many guys as I can to make them understand that they're not alone. They're not perfect. There is shit going on inside your head that you could do with some help with, and we're here to help. So that'll be me for a long time coming.
So what did you say? What is the goal again? Like how many men you trying to help? What is the tell it to public because that's always helping us to, like going for it.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, my goal is to, like, before I finish up, I'd like to have at least helped 5,000 men become the better version that they can be, the best version they can be, because it's in there. We just got to get it out.
Well, I think you should put it. I would go even for higher. Just
Yeah,
it's
I thought
always
I'd give myself a bit of leeway.
yeah. I think like I would go at least like in my opinion like it's better to shoot a higher and end up a little bit less than like having a
Yeah,
small goal and like not like not moving forward
yeah,
that much. Like it's really up to you like how you feel it, right? The drive and so on. But yeah, I love to always like I don't like to think about the viable, what is it called, like the this type of minimum or like at least this type of results or so.
Oh,
I
yeah,
always
yes.
like
Setting your minimum standards. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
minimum
yeah.
standards. No, no,
Above
I
it,
don't
yeah.
like that. I like always, okay, let's go 10,000, and if we're
Shoot for
gonna
the
get
top.
to 8, it's a win too. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean.
Oh, look, I mean, I'd love to say it'd be 100,000 guys in the next 10
Whew!
years. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, and that's it. And it is. There's so many. Like, that's why, like, I'm really at the point now where I'm starting to like push my message out there, because I've even got a few friends and I've spoken to them, and, like, one of the guys said, he's in my group. I've got a small group running. It's a bit of a private one there, but like he comes in and I was talking to him and he goes, "Oh, I don't think this is for me because I'm okay." And I even said to him, I said, "Are you just saying you're okay because that's what you're trying to tell yourself?"
Mm, mm,
Because the biggest thing I can say, if anyone wants to know whether they are or aren't, a really quick thing to do is take yourself into a quiet room where there's a big mirror, like a bathroom or something like that. Stand there and look in the mirror and stare at yourself, like straight into your eyes of yourself. Stay there for 5 minutes, and then have a look at what comes up.
mm.
Because I guarantee you, 99% of us, the first 2 or 3 minutes, you'll be picking all the imperfections out of your face, and then you'll start seeing what's going on inside. And
That's
that's,
that's awesome.
yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
when you
I
find out
love
who
it.
you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't hide from yourself. You can hide from everyone else and you can make all the excuses in the world. But as soon as you stand in front of yourself, and you'll find out who you are. And
That's
that's
awesome.
the person that wants to come out.
And I think this is amazing ending for this show. And thank you so much for being here. Uh, Before I let you go, where people can find you? Do you have some website or social link or wherever where people
Yeah,
can
sure.
connect with you?
So, uh, first one is just my name, so Steve Little on Facebook. Um, that's where most of my work is done, through that. If you come through there, hit me up for a DM and I can put you into the Warrior Reborn. I do have a group there, but it's a private group, so I can put you into that. I have a website that is being built at the moment, so that will be thewarriorreborn.com, and that will be up and running very soon. But yeah, definitely Facebook, on Instagram, Steve Little Coaching. So you can find me on those platforms, and I'm also in LinkedIn as Steve Little as well. So any of those ones, if you got any questions, feel free to hit me up, and I'm happy to have a chat. So
That's
thanks
awesome.
again. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Everybody, that was Steve Lil, and super, super grateful for you being here for this amazing conversation. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.